Today I want to title this audio, Help in the Wrong Direction. Help in the Wrong Direction. Now, I've spoken in previous audios about help, about the spirit of help, confusing help with interference, helping others in the guise of a more sinister plot. I referred to that in different fashions, so I want to talk about another type of help that is often misdirected. And I want to give you a scenario to kind of help you understand. Sometimes there are people in this world who think that they are the world. You are the world to you. But as far as the physical world that we live in, there are others. And there are some people who are so absorbed with themselves and people who contribute to their interest to the point where it's negative and it negatively affects other people in their lives. These type of people have family members or friends that they probably were raised up with. But once they went out on their own and found a little bit of success, they decided those people weren't good enough anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done different audios about people who level up and how you have to leave some people behind. But there are some people that you were raised with who were your cheerleaders. There were people that you went to school with or that were friends with you who knew you before the fact. These are the people that always had your best interests at heart. They never wanted much from you. All they wanted was to be there for you in a capacity of spirit, in a spirit of love. These are the type of people that you do want to take with you when you level up. But some of these people figure because it is associated with a past that they probably want to forget, they go ahead and ignore these people. Let's say that a person came from a household where it was chaotic. Could have been a situation where there either one parent or both parents is either in and out the situation. I mean, they barely provided for you and your siblings at all, and the emotional affection was not there. At an early age, you've learned to be disconnected and you've learned to be self-sufficient. You probably took on a lot of adult duties as a child because the adults that were in the picture did not do their duties, so somebody had to step in, and you as a child probably had to be a substitute parent. You've already learned at an early age to, first of all, that life is hard. It was hard for you. So by the time you grew up and you had a way out, you decided to get out of that situation as quickly as you could. Some people move out of state, move across the country, move to another country to get as far away from the situation as they can. And anything associated with that situation, regardless of who that person is, or regardless of what their attitude is, they don't want to have anything to do with them. These people have literally forgotten where they came from. They've created another world where if they go somewhere else and somebody asks them about their life, they create a scenario that did not exist to this person, making them think that they come from a background that had nothing to do with how they were raised. People do it all the time. They don't even acknowledge to these people, excuse me, they don't even acknowledge to these people whether or not they have any family members. They don't speak much about their upbringing. They don't talk about their education. And that's a problem, people. So this goes on for years. Now, mind you, those people who are left back home, they don't think much of it. They're proud of this person for a while. They're proud that they've accomplished something. They're probably the only person in the family that became successful. And that's okay for a while. But then these people who are left behind, they grow up as well and build businesses and build lives and build careers on their own. And they realize when they go off and build a life for theirself, that they don't act the way that that person acted. And then the light bulb goes off and it makes them wonder, Why do they act the way they act, and I act differently, and we came from the same place? That's one of life's mysteries. So back to the misguided help. This so-called person spends their life building their career. They got everything they wanted, so to speak, or they're in that zone where they're comfortable. They're comfortable with the fact that they don't spend much time at home, and if they do, it's in a very limited capacity with only a handful of people who are in the same status that they're in. Yeah, they're stuck up, no doubt about it. But what you find these people doing, you'll find them overextending themselves and giving resources to these people as opposed to the people they left behind. Now, as I stated before, when you level up, there's some people you have to leave behind. But you have to understand, too, that doesn't mean you leave everybody behind. Because if somebody was there for you before you had what you had, and all they wanted was your love and your attention, and you turn around and you do something against them by ignoring them, your success is limited. Your success is limited. What you should do is, if you reach that point, is do everything you can to offer support to help build them. But see, a lot of people don't do that, because if they're coming from a place of hurt and pain, and that hurt and pain has affected them so deeply to the point where instead of confronting it and letting it go and dealing with it, they would rather just run away from the entire environment. And that's a bad thing, people. So what these people do when they finally do slow down and decide they want to be in a position to help people, and that's usually around middle age or so, they want to go ahead and they want to give money to this person and help a person build this business and take care of this person's priorities and everything else. But these aren't the people that were there for them before they became successful, that they spiritually abandoned. They spiritually abandoned these people because these people represented the hurt and pain that they went through. These people hadn't done anything to them. They just represent that. So they ran away from the scene, and they ran away from the people who are left in the scene, not giving any regard to what they're going through, not offering a helping hand or word of encouragement. And that, people, is wrong. I'm going to give you a case in point, and I'm going to let you guys go. Once upon a time, I knew of a female, and she was raised up in a family where there was a whole lot of confusion. Both parents were in the house, yes, but they were just there because. And like I said, this is someone else that doesn't have anything to do with me. But just to give the scenario, there was a lot of mental abuse in the household. Physical abuse, I'm not sure about. There was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of drama with other family members because of the behavior of the parents. It was just chaotic. Finances were not steady. Education was not steady. Residence was not steady, always moving around. There was always a problem. This person grew up in constant drama and confusion. But when they got a little bit older in high school and started to think about their career and what they wanted to do, they started to seek mentorship at the local community center and started talking to people who guided them and helped them understand how to work their way through education and life and jobs. And dealing with these people and looking at their lives, this young lady understood, finally started to see how dysfunctional her home was. And because of that, it brought her even more pain. More pain. So when she got a little bit older, she became successful, and of course she left home. Came home maybe every few years, but it was very limited capacity, only go to certain places, only deal with certain people. But the people that she left behind, the siblings, very limited conversation, always talking about achievements and what they can do and what they can't do. It was always a superiority complex involved. It was never a mutual meeting of the minds. They were never on the same level. She was always above everybody else. And when she came back home, she let the whole world know. But through the years, come to find out she would have financial troubles here and there. And people would help and people might not. But when she was doing well, you didn't hear much from her. And what she would do is she would take her resources, instead of helping the people that she left behind that only wanted her love, she would go help somebody else. Give money to her boyfriend's children that she's only dated for a few years, for any old thing. Buying cars for friends she's only knew for a few years. Co-signing on mortgages for houses and business loans, but won't lift a finger to help the people who she's left behind. Now, what do you think is going to happen to her? So some years later have passed, and finally she's slowed down and getting close to the end of life, and now the meaning of life has slapped her in the face. And a lot of those people that she dealt with before, they are not showing the respect that she felt she deserved. Has gotten into a mountain of debt and hardly ever communicate with her. No gratitude whatsoever. All of a sudden she turns to the people that she left behind. Now some of these people, maybe one or two, will lend a listening ear, will go ahead and do some legwork for her if she's in a situation where she can't do anything. But after all these years, these people have been neglected so long, what do you think they felt? And rightly so. See, they knew that she was bending over backwards for a bunch of strangers who meant her no good and wouldn't do anything to help them through their struggles. This is the time where you need to help people. When you have people from your past who only want your love and only want your support and only want to support you and be a part of your life and want to build you up, these are not the people you leave behind. So those of you who are misguiding and misdirecting your help to the wrong folks because you feel that the people that you dealt with before weren't good enough to breathe your airspace, do not go back to them when things slow down or when you're in times of trouble and expect them to give you attention and respect, because it's not going to happen because you didn't give it to them. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it with that, people. You have a great day. Thank you for your support, and peace and love to you.